For 30 years, I gave everything I had to my son Ethan. I dedicated my life to raising him, working nonstop, nursing him through every sickness, paying for his education, and sacrificing my own marriage, my entire life, just so he could have a better one. But when I told him I lost my job, the first thing he did was throw me out. He called me useless, a burden, a parasite. That was the moment I stopped swallowing my pride. I refused to be the mother who let herself get walked over anymore. It was time I stood up for myself, or so I thought. He didn't realize I wasn't completely helpless. My former employer, someone who truly valued the years I had given her, had left me a fortune. I had every intention of making sure Ethan understood that turning his back on me would come with a price. I had just arrived home when I told Ethan I wouldn't be working for Catherine anymore. Before I could even explain why, his face turned stormy, and he cut me off, yelling, his face flushed with anger. "Why would you quit a job paying $8,000 a month? What are you going to do now? Just sit around and freeload?" Any bit of happiness I'd felt about coming home disappeared instantly. Did he honestly believe I quit that job just to take it easy? I came back to help them, but his words hit me like a slap. Still, I held back my anger. I knew he'd been dealing with a lot of stress lately. His wife, Nicole, came from a family that never accepted ours. Her mom was a professor. Her dad worked in government. They always looked down on Ethan. Nicole followed their lead, constantly making digs at his background, his income, and his upbringing, always trying to chip away at his self-worth. I thought maybe once they learned about the $8 million inheritance Catherine left me, they'd finally respect him, maybe even treat him better. But I didn't bring it up, not yet. Instead, I mentioned something else. "Didn't you say Nicole's planning to get pregnant soon? I thought I'd come back early to help, to support her during the pregnancy, assist with recovery, maybe even help with the baby." Nicole's face went cold immediately. I swear, she even scoffed. "Postpartum recovery needs professional care," she said flatly. "You were a housekeeper. What would you know about that?" Her mom, Susan, gave me a dismissive glance and added, "Taking care of a newborn isn't just bottles and diapers. It's science. You need training. This isn't something amateurs can handle." The two of them had clearly rehearsed this routine. They dismissed me as if I was incapable of offering any help. I gave a bitter laugh to myself. Nothing had changed. They still thought I was beneath them. But, to keep the peace, I forced a smile. "If everything's already arranged, I won't get in the way. I'll leave the baby care to you." Susan rolled her eyes, like that was the only sensible thing I'd said all evening. "Fine," she replied, "but you'll cover the nanny and baby nurse costs. I'll handle the hiring." Her words left me stunned, a tightness building in my chest. Ethan immediately backed her up. "Exactly, Mom. You shouldn't have quit your job. Our expenses are about to double. You should really keep working." That's when it hit me. They never wanted me home to rest. They just needed a consistent income flowing in. I was nothing but a paycheck to them. My expression hardened. "I'm 58. I think it's time I get some rest and retire." "Retire?" Nicole scoffed, letting out a cold laugh. "You don't even have a pension. What kind of retirement are you talking about?" Her words knocked the air out of me. I had wanted to invest in a retirement plan years ago, but they convinced me to use that money to help pay off their mortgage. Now, they threw that in my face. Nicole flicked her hair, snapping, "That's because your income was pathetic. Who told you to buy a house you couldn't afford without a loan? You should have planned better." Ethan raised his voice, trying to calm her down, but directing it at me instead. "Enough, Mom. Nicole's trying to get pregnant. You're just stressing her out. We really need the money right now, and you're still in good shape. There's no reason you can't work another 20 years. Save the retirement talk for when you're 80. Another 20 years? I froze. An emptiness washed over me that I couldn't even describe. After everything I'd given, every late night, every dollar, every sacrifice, I was still only seen as a source of income. That's when I finally saw the truth. Their respect, their gratitude, it was all fake. Just sweet-sounding lies to keep me working. Back when Ethan was still in college and dating Nicole, I gave up everything. I moved to another city to work as a live-in housekeeper just to save up for a house for them. They never paid a dime, yet the deed was in their names. Back then, they cried and promised, "When things get better, we'll take care of you. You'll get the life you deserve." Now I know what life I deserve really meant. To work myself to death until I collapse at 80. I held back my tears and steadied my voice. I said I'm retiring. That's final. No one decides that for me. Susan must have sensed I was serious, and she changed her tone. "Look, we understand, but be realistic. There's no extra room in the house. You can't expect to stay here forever, right? But I have a solution." Something in her smile made my stomach twist. "There's a wealthy family looking for a live-in assistant. It pays well, includes room and board. You've done that kind of work before. It should be an easy fit." Nicole jumped in with a grin. "Perfect. That way, you can help with expenses too. Win-win." Susan added, "You're not someone who really needs rest. Going back to work won't kill you. Just give it a shot. If it goes well, maybe you'll even stay long-term." My expression turned to stone. "I already quit. I'm not going back to anyone's house to work." Susan's smile vanished. Her voice sharpened. "Well, if you're really done working for others, fine." She paused, pressure creeping into her tone. "There's a senior residence nearby. Decent meals, good facilities. You could apply for a work-based stay. Kitchen help, janitorial duties, something to earn your keep." Nicole rolled her eyes. "Now, that's more reasonable. You can't just stay in a hotel and expect us to pay. At least at the residence, you'd be pulling your own weight. Stop expecting us to carry you." Rage simmered inside me, but I stayed composed. I turned to Ethan. "Do you honestly believe it's okay to send your own mother to scrub floors in a retirement home just to survive?" His eyes darted away, but he tried to stay rational. "Mom, be realistic. You've always said you wanted independence. Isn't this the dignified way to do it? You support yourself. We don't owe each other anything." Then he added, pulling out his phone, "There's a spot open right now. I already called earlier. You could move in today." Right there, in front of me, he started dialing again. I couldn't believe it. The child I had given my entire life to was now eager to cast me out, like I was nothing. My hands trembled and tears fell. "Ethan, I gave everything to raise you. I used up all my savings to buy you a home. And now, you treat me like a burden to get rid of." For just a second, I saw guilt flicker in his eyes, but it was quickly replaced with fury. He kicked my suitcase over, yelling, "You think you suffered? That was your choice. If you hadn't divorced Dad, we wouldn't have ended up poor. I could have had a rich life, and you ruined it. You owe me for life, Margaret." I stared at him in stunned silence, the pain slicing through me like a dull knife. What he didn't know was that I had divorced his father, for his sake. If I hadn't, Ethan's so-called wealthy dad would never have claimed him. He might have ended up in foster care, treated like nothing. Every sacrifice I made, every tear, every job, was so Ethan could have a future. And here he was, turning on me like a cornered animal, blaming me for destroying the very life I fought so hard to give him. The young woman who had greeted me earlier didn't need any defending. She was completely fine. She carried herself with confidence and professionalism, and I wanted her to be the one to show me the property. Alex looked a little uncomfortable and admitted she'd just started and was still in training. I assured him, firmly and without room for debate, that I liked her and wanted to proceed with the house purchase through her. He nodded quickly, flustered but eager to please. "Of course, absolutely," he said, then turned to Monica. "Make sure our guest is treated with the utmost care." Chloe stood off to the side, her face stiff, lips twitching as if she were holding back her irritation. Watching me walk away, she muttered under her breath, "Just a glorified errand maid pretending to be somebody." I ignored her entirely and pointed to the scale model in the center of the showroom. "That one. I want to see it," I told Monica. From the moment I saw that villa, I was sold. Soaring ceilings in the living room, a wide garden in the back, a sunroom that stretched over 200 square feet, and best of all, it was fully furnished and ready to move into. "I'll take it," I said, without a second thought. "Let's get the paperwork going." Monica's eyes lit up. "Ma'am, are you sure? Would you like to see a few more?" "I've got time. I'd be happy to show you others." "No need," I replied. "This one's more than enough." She could barely contain her joy. "This would be the first sale I've ever closed. You're my lucky charm." We moved to the signing area. While I was reviewing the documents, murmurs began spreading behind me. "She just signed. Just like that? $150,000? Not even a blink. That's real money. Must be nice." Then someone added, "Don't get fooled. Didn't Chloe say she's just a maid? Probably using her employer's money. These days, even housekeepers know how to fake it. She's probably just flashing someone else's card around. Seriously, what kind of boss trusts a maid with that much cash? Millions?" Chloe's voice sliced through the whispers, her tone oozing gossip. "She's not a regular maid. She's one of those live-in assistants for rich old men. You know what that really means." "No way. At her age, that's just disgusting," another voice added. "If her family knew, wouldn't they be ashamed?" I calmly set the contract down and turned to Monica. "Monica, could you get Alex again? I'm looking to buy a second property." The entire room went silent, like someone had hit pause on the air itself. Monica's eyes widened. Her voice trembled. "Ma'am, are you sure you want another one?" I nodded calmly. "Yes, one to live in, one as an investment, and I'd like Alex's help on this one too." Alex returned quickly, practically glowing with energy. "Hello again, ma'am. What can I assist you with?" "I've confirmed the first property," I said, "and I'm ready to sign. I'd also like to add a second unit, but—" I paused, my tone cooling. "I expect your team to address the inappropriate conduct of certain employees." Alex's smile faded, and his eyes scanned the room until they landed on Chloe. "Chloe," he said firmly, "are you starting trouble again? Apologize to the client, now." Chloe lifted her chin, defiant. "Why should I? I told the truth. She used to be a maid, a live-in one, catering to rich old men. Her son even said it himself." I looked her straight in the eye. "My son told you that? Interesting, because he also once said your list of closed deals didn't come from skill. It came from the time you spent in bed with clients. Is that true?" Her face lost all color, lips trembling. "You're lying. That's slander." "Oh? Just minutes ago, you slandered me. But now you know what defamation means?" I turned to Alex, who didn't need a hint. His expression turned serious. "Chloe, that's enough. Security. Escort her out. She's terminated. Effective immediately." Chloe panicked, her eyes welling up with tears. Alex, I wasn't lying. She really was a maid. But his voice stayed firm. You've seriously violated company conduct. You're fired. I raised my hand to stop the guards. Wait, she's not going anywhere. Not yet. I pulled out my phone and dialed. Hello? Yes. Police, please. I'd like to file a defamation and harassment report. 10 minutes later, 2 officers showed up. After hearing what happened and reviewing the situation, they issued Chloe a formal warning. They made it clear, if she didn't apologize publicly, I had the full right to press charges. Chloe, cornered and seething with rage, finally muttered through clenched teeth, "I'm sorry." She shot Monica and me one last burning glance before storming out. Monica, who she'd looked down on just an hour earlier, was now the star of the day, preparing to close her second sale. By the end of it, I'd signed both property contracts and paid in full without blinking. Monica stood beside me, eyes glossy with emotion. "Ma'am, thank you so much. I've been working here 3 months without a single sale. Today, 2 back-to-back. You're honestly like a miracle to me." Out of gratitude, she insisted on arranging a deep clean and moving prep for me herself. I happily accepted. For the first time in years, I felt weightless, like the bitterness, resentment, and humiliation had all been swept away, just like the dust outside my new villa. That evening, back at my hotel, my phone rang. It was Ethan. "What the hell did you do? Chloe lost her job, and her family's coming after us demanding answers. How are you going to fix this?" I replied casually. "Let them come. That's your problem now. I told you. We're done. I owe you nothing. You caused all this drama and now expect us to deal with it?" That made my blood boil. Drama? Are you serious? Chloe publicly humiliated me. She got what she deserved. You think the police just showed up for fun? If this turns into a bigger mess, don't think you'll get away untouched. Ethan went quiet for a second. Then his voice softened. Okay, let's just move on. So, who's your new boss? They must be super rich. Treating you well, huh? I chuckled silently. There it was again, the scent of money, and he was sniffing around like a hound. It doesn't matter who they are. It has nothing to do with you. Let me say it one more time. We're done. And I ended the call, then blocked Ethan, Nicole, and every one of their numbers. He painted me as the cold, money-obsessed villain who abandoned her son. On his streams, he told viewers things like, "My mom never truly loved me. I studied and worked so hard, and she didn't support me, not even in small ways. The year I got into college, she moved away to another city to work as a live-in assistant for rich people, leaving me alone in a cramped rental apartment. When I got married, she gave me nothing, not a single dollar. Even when my wife got pregnant, she never offered any help at all. Now that I've come into money, he claimed I completely cut him off, like he didn't even exist. He insisted he didn't care about the money. He just wanted me to recognize him as my son. But I wouldn't even say his name," he said. While I was supposedly living it up in a mansion, riding in luxury cars, and enjoying the high life, he was being judged and humiliated on the streets. People online quickly split into sides. Some took his side, feeling sorry for him. Others called me heartless. Then came the provocateurs. "A mother like that doesn't deserve the title," they said. "She should be ashamed. He's so pitiful. I'd give him the love she never did." His live stream blew up. His followers surged. He even started selling merch and promoting products, milking the sympathy donations. "Let this money be the warmth your mom never gave you," they'd comment. "You deserve better, sweet boy. She doesn't deserve happiness." And just like that, it all got worse. People began digging into my private life, my name, my photos. my address. Everything started spreading across comment sections and reposts. I had officially become the face of online cruelty, the coldest mom on the internet. That evening, my phone rang again. It was my lawyer. "Margaret, we can move forward with legal action immediately," she said. "We can get the defamatory content taken down, demand a public apology, and sue for damages." I paused and gave a small smile. "No rush," I replied. "Let him have his moment. I'll handle this myself first." That night, I registered an account on StreamNet and launched my own live channel. I titled it, "So, this is the mom who abandoned Ethan." First, I jumped into Ethan's stream and donated several $1,000s, catching everyone's attention and spiking the live chat. Then, I sent a message across the screen for all to see. "Hi, everyone. I'm the heartless mother Ethan keeps talking about. He says I cut off his money. Come to my channel. I'll show you the truth. Tonight, I'm giving away $100,000 in cash prizes. First come, first served." Within seconds, viewers flooded my stream. The numbers soared, and I began sending out the promised rewards. The chat exploded. "Thank you, Sugar Mama. This is the real content queen. Taking notes. She's more loving than my own mom." Riding the wave, I began my live broadcast. I didn't sugarcoat anything. I looked into the camera and spoke plainly. Yes, I cut off financial support to Ethan, but that doesn't mean I stopped loving him. And it definitely doesn't mean I abandoned him. You all deserve to hear the full story. I walked away, not out of hate, but because his greed became unbearable. When I first got the inheritance from my late employer, I wanted to give it all to Ethan and his wife, but instead of being grateful, they accused me of trying to freeload. They joined forces and kicked me out of the house. They even suggested I move in with some random elderly man as a live-in assistant. In their minds, I wasn't a mother. I was just a bank account. As I explained, I put up a scan of the legal trust from my employer, a notarized document showing I'd inherited over $8 million. That money was rightfully mine, left by a woman who had no children of her own and loved me like family. I was her sole heir. Comments poured in. "Wait, she inherited $9 million? Who leaves that kind of money to a housekeeper?" Finally, karma finds a good heart. But of course, not everyone believed it. Some doubters chimed in. "Still, you're his mom. Aren't you supposed to support your kid? Cutting him off after marriage sounds cold." I looked right at the camera and replied, "Does being a parent mean being an ATM for life?" I raised him alone from when he was 1, paid all his school fees, bought him a house. And what did I get in return? Suspicion, rejection, and disrespect. They treated me like a burden and still expected me to keep slaving away just to fund their lifestyle. Then I played my final card, an audio recording of Ethan trying to arrange for me to become a live-in assistant for an old man. The call was recorded by that man's household security system. Solid proof. The comment section exploded again. "Unbelievable. This isn't just mooching. It's financial abuse. Cutting him off wasn't cruel. It was self-defense. He's not crying for love. He's crying for cash." I knew that was just the beginning. Ethan didn't miss me. He missed the money. This war was only starting. I scanned the flood of messages and laughed softly before leaning into the camera. The truth is, there was never a need to cut Ethan off, I said. Question marks filled the feed. I stayed calm and continued, because Ethan was never my biological child. I adopted him when I was volunteering at an orphanage. He was just a year old, abandoned by his birth parents in a dumpster, and born with a serious heart defect. He was barely surviving when I found him. I brought him home, out of pure compassion and spent everything I had to save his life. My divorce wasn't over cheating. It was because my husband insisted on having his own biological child and refused to keep raising Ethan. I had to choose: give Ethan back or end my marriage. I chose Ethan. I gave up my relationship, the chance to have my own children, just so he could live. I worked night shifts, waited tables, cleaned homes. I did whatever I had to so he could get better. I paid his college tuition. I even bought him a house. And what did he do? He refused to let me live in that house. He threw me out like I was a stranger. And now he slanders me online, spreading lies that I slept my way into wealth. How do you respond to something like that? As I spoke, I uploaded photo after photo: hospital bills, medical invoices, school receipts, bus passes, proof of a life spent giving, a mountain of sacrifices captured in ink and paper. The chat blew up again. He's disgusting. She saved his life, and this is how he repays her? Living in the house she paid for and kicked her out? Sick. God gave him life. She gave him everything else. The backlash was immediate. People rushed back into Ethan's stream, flooding his chat with anger. How could we support you? You lied. You bled your mother dry and called her heartless. On his stream, Ethan's face turned pale. Why are you believing her? He shouted. If I wasn't her real son, why did she do all that? She's lying. She's manipulating you. No one would go that far for a kid that isn't theirs. Back on my channel, more people demanded proof. Without blinking, I uploaded a scan of the official adoption certificate. Government issued, publicly verified, authentic. The comment section lit up. That's it. End of story. She's telling the truth. He used her love, her money, her life, and still tried to ruin her. Report him. He doesn't deserve a platform. Just when it seemed things couldn't get worse, Ethan doubled down. So what if I wasn't her real kid? He shouted. I never asked her to save me. Maybe if she hadn't taken me in, I would have been adopted by a real family. She ruined my life. That was it. The final straw. The internet exploded with rage. You're mad she saved your life? That's vile. Let everyone see who you really are. Report this monster now. Within a day, public opinion flipped. Ethan went from being a sad, abandoned victim to a greedy, heartless parasite, feeding on his adoptive mother. His streaming account was permanently banned that night. My lawyer filed a defamation and harassment lawsuit, demanding compensation for damages. We also filed a court order to stop him from attacking me online any further. The court ruled in my favor. Ethan was found guilty of violating cyber safety and defamation laws. He was ordered to pay damages and all legal costs. His accounts were banned for good. And me? I was finally free. There was no trace of Ethan left in my life, and there never would be again.